class for this edition of the business analysis. Thank you for staying to the end, and also thank you, Ayoola, for taking us on these classes. We really appreciate you. Your effort is not unnoticed. Thank you very much. As we have said, this is a free session brought to us by Ayoola in collaboration with Borderless Tech. Really appreciate that. This session is brought to us by Borderless Tech. It's a platform that teaches Black kids coding in UK and Europe. And we carry out these classes as a form of CSR, corporate social responsibility, to empower people and help them get jobs in tech. So this is more like an intro session. It helps you to decide if business analysis is good for you. And if you feel it's good for you and you want to take it to the next step, please let us know. I'm going to send a link now into this chat for those that are interested in mentorship, interested in taking it to the next step. Those links, that link is for you. So fill it in. Interestingly, for a few of us that were here last week, Lola joined this session, and after the session, she reached out saying that she's interested in working with one or two people on mentorship, that's business analysis. So if you're interested, please feel that. We also have companies that teach these things full time that are also interested. So if you're also interested, please feel and we'll reach out to you. And then another part is we also teach kids coding. So if you feel you have what it takes, you love kids, you want to teach our kids, because business analysis is part of what we're introducing to these kids, we would also want you on board. We also, I just shared a link for that too. So please fill it. Also, social media, please follow us. Tweet about it, post about it, so that we can have more traction. All of those links I'm sharing in the chat now. So just pick on it and work on it. I'm also going to share it in the group for those of us that will be picking it from the group. So without wasting much of our time, let's get into the class. I'm also going to share feedback at the end of the class. I'm going to share a feedback link. Would also feel that. But for now, let me hand you over to Ayoola so that you can have your class. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. Do have a blessed class. Ayoola, over to you.
Yeah. Good. Is it evening or afternoon? Good evening, everybody. Yes, yeah. So I will just go straight in. My advice is that 4 weeks is not enough to learn everything about business analysis. Yes, that's the truth. I think I told you this from the beginning. And if you're looking for a career, you're new in business analysis, and you've not really done anything at all, especially if you're not in the IT right from time. The best thing is for you to start from the intern business analysis 1, so that you can learn on the job, because this is more practical. It's more practical. That's why you see me explaining with real life scenario most of the time. It's just about what you do. By the time you do it, you picture it in your mind and you'll be able to deliver on the job, because you need to have the users in mind. You need to have the stakeholders in mind anytime you're delivering any project. So as an analyst, you must be somebody who thinks fast. You must put yourself in the solution of all the stakeholders. Whether you have to be a customer and at the same time the owner of the business. Yes. So you have to be thinking in the line of, if I'm the owner of this business, what would I do? You also need to think in line of the customer. If I am the customer, what will I do? So as a business analyst, you just have to have a mind of everybody, even as a programmer. Yes, what will a programmer need for his or her work to go smoothly? So that's part of where you put yourself as a business analyst. You know, don't forget at the preparation aspect of it, when you first come in and there is a problem, You must understand that problem. And that is the basic thing. You must put yourself in the shoe of the person that is under that problem. Sometimes the problem is from the staffs. They are the one that is complaining about the old ERP that they are using or the old system that they are using. It rose and rose and rose after 2 minutes. You know how frustrating that can be. But the owner of the business is saying that, come, this is what I can get you. You guys should go and do with it. So you need to put yourself in the shoe of the owner of the business, in the shoe of the customers, and also in the shoe of the staff. So I don't want to go too deep today. I believe that we've gained something. This is just to prepare us towards this field. It's either you take it, oh well, this is my field, this is something I like, and you go for more training. Like I said, I have not gone so deep into business analysis, and I can't because of the time. It's something that you will need at least 6 months to even learn the to even learn it at all on that lecture basis. Not to talk of you want to now go into it and it will now be your everyday job as a career. All right. So without that, we still have a lot of places we have not touched at all. We've not spoken about, and I don't want it to be like you are hearing for the first time when you go out there, especially when you now pick the full training. When you pick the full training, because of this hands-on training that you have gotten, because of this opening up you have gotten, you will be able to say something. It won't be a new word to you, a new thing to you, a new thing to you. So I'm just trying to open up basic aspects of what business analysts does on their day to day. All right. So today, being the last class, I'm still going to use the same strategy. Once in a while, I will call on you to come on the chat box and comment or ask you some questions. So please stay tuned. These questions are deliberate. These questions are just to make me feel okay. Yes, you're really carrying along. You're really following. So we're going to start today because we don't have too much time. We're going to start today by looking straight into the tools. Yes, the tools that business analysts use. We're going to explore these tools. These are tools that they use to deliver the value to their projects. These tools, if you don't use it, it may affect you. Yes, because you may not be able to deliver the value efficiently and collaboratively, and after you follow up. So these tools are so much. They are more than this. I just screen grab this one. InVision, Figma, Jira, Confluence, Microsoft Visio, Draw.io, Microsoft Teams, Slack, Word Documents, Google, Azure, Lucid Charts, Miro, Balsamiq, Zoom, Webex. Many of these tools that you can see on your screen, you've come across it before. You've learned it before. For instance, PowerPoint. In fact, Borderless gave a lecture like this on PowerPoint some months ago. And you see, no knowledge is lost. What you have learned in your secondary school will still come up here now. So Microsoft Word is part of the tools that business analysts use. Yes. So all these tools that you are looking at now, I'm not saying you should know everything. You may not know everything. And again, let me give you a tip. You may get to a company, they don't use Jira. They use Microsoft Word, for example, or they use something else. You will need to go and learn what they use. Yes, that's why you need to find out about that company even before interview or before you apply to that company. All right. Now, I'm going to look at the tools and I'm going to tell you some of those tools, how they are being used, and at what aspects does business analysts use them. For instance, there is a visual tool. Yeah, it's called visual diagramming tools. It is used to draw up diagrams, and Visio, Figma, Draw.io, and Lucidchart falls into this category. Anytime you want to draw a diagram, you don't just come and you carry one paper and you just put you just use biro and you now say you want to present this to your stakeholders, to the directors of the company. No. So you need to use these tools. You need to learn how to use these tools. So it helps you to create, for instance, use cases. We've discussed about use case last week. Yes. So use cases, process flow. For example, if you are mapping how a customer order food from an online business, for instance, these tools will help you to visualize each steps that that customer takes from placing the order to receiving a confirmation. In short, they turn abstract process into clear and visual journeys. Yes, that's what they do. So these tools, by the time you are presenting and you are using these tools to present, your boss or whoever you are presenting to will know that you know what you're doing. So the next one after the visual tools is the wireframing tools. Yes, wireframes. So the wireframing tools, Balsamic, Lucidchart also, Draw.io, Visio, they all form into this. And what are they used for? It's used to draw up wireframes. What are wireframes? Wireframes are just blueprints for digital products. When I say digital products, I'm talking about software products. Yes, like software. Let's say you are building a new app now, or a new app feature you want to add to the feature. They have an app already, but there is another feature you want to add to that app, like a login page. A wireframe will show you the layout, the structure, and the flow before it is designed at all by the developer, before anything like development, before it gets to the developers at all. Now, in this lecture today, I would like you to program yourself as if we're developing, you're working with an IT company. Yes, IT company where you have programmers also. All right. So wireframe shows the layout, like I said, and the structure before the design and before the development stage begins. Now, the next one is let's look at the documentation tools, documentation and communication tools. With that word alone, you know that it is just used to document and to communicate. Yeah. Once you start your job as a business analyst, you need to communicate to stakeholders. You need to communicate to people. So how do you communicate? Do you just say it? No. So you need to use the tools. All these tools that you have learned before, like Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Gmail, Teams, Zoom, Miro, Mural, whiteboards. All these are tools that you will need to communicate to teams, to departments. Yes, so you need to know how to use these tools. You must know how to use these tools. All right, these tools support everything that you are using, that you are doing as a business. For instance, now, if you want to write a business case, you're going to be write Microsoft Word. It depends on it depends on the tradition of that company. And if you want to bring change, you must bring a positive change to that company. So the first thing is that when you get to a new company, you ask them, where is your artifacts? They must give you access to what they have before. So that's when you know, oh, wireframe, they are using Balsamic, they are using this, they are using Microsoft Word. Okay, this is what they're using before. If you feel that what they're using is not up to standard, then you can now bring a new one. But it must be positive. Yes. So tools that support everything from writing a business case and to BRD, yeah, these are their documentation and communication tools. Yes. And finally, we have these project management and collaboration tools. Jira, Basecamp, Kanban boards, Microsoft 360, yes, Miro, Google Drive. I won't lie to you, even as I am, it is not all these tools that I know. It is not all of them. Some I know how to interface, I know how to, go around it. Some I don't know it at all. Some I'm very good in it. But all these tools, it depends on the company you are working. They can't use everything. The company cannot just get all these things. You understand? So these tools are like that I mentioned just now. They are they are the command centers of our projects. Yes, let me just put it that way. Imagine you are managing a product backlog in Jira. You update the task on the Kanban board and you share project files on the Google Drive, and everything just stays organized. You know where to go, you know what to do. You use just those three. So you can visualize, you can track the project, you can know where, when, and how, and why this project is not delivered, or this particular task is not delivered at one point in time. You know, so each of these tools that I mentioned plays a very significant role in project management, and in as a business analyst, you need to know it. So they enable business analysts to drive clarity. They will help you to make sure you reduce confusion. You know, I said this is not what I said, then let's go and check the document. You know, and you deliver solutions that align with the business goals because you have documented it down. So I don't want to talk too much on this because I have a goal today, and I need to mention about 3 things that are very significant. As a business analyst, you need to know this. If you don't know it deep, you can go and research more of it. And one of it is the use case. Yes, it is one of the fundamentals of business analysts. Yes, use case or unified UML, for instance, unified modeling language. I think that's what it's called. Unified modeling language. Yes. Yeah. So in simple terms, use case describes how users interact with a system. If users wants to achieve a goal, a specific goal on a system, how do they interact with it? For instance, now, e-commerce store. If you look at an e-commerce store, just program your mind, maybe like Jumia or Amazon. Look at this use case scenario here. Users place an order. Yeah. The actors are the customers, and the goal is to buy a product. What are the steps that these users will take to buy a product? It logs into the site, searches for a product, it adds the item to the cart, yes, checks out and make payment. Then the next thing is it receives confirmation. Yeah, this flow shows us what happens between the user and the system. Clearly, sequentially, visually, you can see it. So another example is a bank ATM. Every one of us have a bank ATM. I'm sure that we've interfaces with bank ATM once. So if you imagine that you are designing a software for a bank ATM, and that use case might be withdraw cash. That's the title of the use case, withdraw cash. Now, who are the actors? If you really understand and you follow me, the actors will be the bank customer. Yes, is the one to withdraw. In this scenario, is the one to withdraw the cash. So the bank customer is the actor. And what are the steps it will take? You must have the precondition is that you must have a bank ATM. Yeah. So what are those steps? Number one, he will insert his card, he will enter his PIN, withdraw the cash, and or to withdraw the cash, you select to withdraw cash. Yes, after entering the PIN, you select withdraw cash. It depends anyway. So you enter the amount, you collect your cash and receipt. So this use case, if you just document it like this, it makes it easy for developers, designers, and even non-technical stakeholders to understand the logic and the sequence behind the user's action. So use cases are often the starting point before creating wireframes. I've not talked about wireframe before, but wireframe is just a prototype of the software itself. So user stories before you start it, use cases must be on board. Test scripts before you start it, use cases must be on board. So on the final thought on this, I don't want to delve too much on this because there's so much inside it, but because of time, I won't be able to go too deep. I want you to think of use case as a script for users experience. Yes, it tells you who is doing what, it tells you why they are doing it, it tells you how the system helps them to succeed. So as a business analyst, use case is your secret weapon for bringing together the business needs and the technical designs. Yes, the technical designs, and that's why you stay in the middle between the developers and the business need itself. Yeah. Please, if you have questions, document or send it on the chat box right now. So after the lecture or during the middle of the lecture, I'll just go back and read the questions that were there so that you don't just skip your questions. So that we can go too deep, let me just take the lectures first, then we can take the questions later. All right. Still on use case. There's what is called architecture in business analysis. Use case is one of them. And like I said, it is used to bridge the gap between the user's needs and the system itself. Now, let's talk about the architecture. In business analysis, when we talk about architecture, we mean the structural layout, how parts of a system will interact, how they form together. And use case architecture, if you use it together like that, it focuses on one very important question: who is doing what, like I said, and how is the system responding? Is it the users that is doing something, or is it the staff? Now let's think of an online. I like using examples to drive home my explanation. So if you look at an online booking app, imagine Uber or Bolt. You have a rider, yeah, who wants to book a ride, yeah. You have a driver who wants to accept your request, and you have the system itself. Those are three actors. So the system is the one that will connect the two of both of them. So in a use case architecture, the rider selects the pickup and destination. Yeah. The system calculates the system and the distance and the fare. And based on the programming that is at the back end, the system also allocates driver, Yeah. So the rider on its own, that's the driver, selects the driver on its own gets it doesn't select anything. So it just gets notification. Then it's either he rejects or he accepts. And once accepted, trip begins. And finally, payment is processed. So this is a very simple foundation to what I call product architecture. And this is how everything is. This is the basis of everything. Simply put, this is just business analysis. So why is it called architecture? We call it architecture because it is just like a building. You're building a house and you design the rooms, The rooms must have functions. You have a living room, and you have the room. You have other room, laundry rooms. So they all have functions. You need to plan how people move in that room, and you make sure that the doors and the doors are connected together. The windows are also connected logically. So the system must respond. You go to the kitchen, you know, it has its purpose. So in a use case view of architecture, you are mapping the system from the user's lens. You know, when I started, I said you have to be everybody. So from the user's lens, you are mapping that system. So as a business analyst, how do you use cases? Now, you use these use cases architecture to show stakeholders exactly what the system does. It could be as the system is before you came. You also use it to help developers to visualize what to build. You also use it to guide testers on what to test. Another practical scenario I want to example I want to give is the online banking. Let's say you are designing an architecture for a mobile banking app. Users will log in, they'll view their balances, they transfer funds, pay bills on it. You would break this into use cases. You will identify the actors. When I say actors, those that are involved. The user is one of the actors, the system is one. Third parties, yes, it's one of the actors too. And you have to connect all of them using the system or using the app. That is what is called architecture. You build it from the user's case, this is not coding this time. You don't have to be a developer. So use case architecture is how we turn ideas into structure. Is the blueprint of the functional requirement. It's a user-centered solution. The user, whether it's the customer that is the user or the staff that is the user, it must be user-centered. Yes. So it must be user-centered. Now, there's what is called use case components. And use case components are divided into two. We have the diagram, which is use case diagram, and we have the use case document. Yeah. So these two work together and they create a full picture of user interaction with the system. Now, the part one of it, which is the diagram, let's start with it. It's a visual representation of the use case. It has 4 building blocks. I call it building blocks. Yes. The actors, use cases, relationships, the boundary box. These are the 4 important building blocks of the use case diagram. What I mean is this. In a use case diagram, these 4 must be involved. You will have these 4 in a scenario. For instance, all the examples that we have made just now, we must have these 4 building blocks. Yes, actors, use cases, relationships, boundary blocks. You will understand this very soon when we start going in. You understand it more. But let me just explain these building blocks one by one. Now, when we say actors, that's simple now. The users, the system itself that interacts. Example is in a ride like the Uber or Bolt. The actors are the drivers, the passengers, they are the actors. Now, what do we mean by use cases? Use cases are actions or goals that the actors want to achieve. For instance, book a ride. For instance, cancel trip. Make payment. So this is what we call use cases. Now, the third one is relationships. So a typical use case must show relationships. So it will show the relationship between the actors, how they connect together in a typical use case. Yes, and it is used. You show it using arrows, lines. Yes, So, for instance, you want to show lines that a passenger can book a ride and rate a driver. Yes. So it is lines that you use to do that. The last one is boundary box. And this is the system boundary itself. You can't go more than this. It clearly defines inside what is inside the system that you have power on and what the app or software is responsible and can do, and what is outside the system. That's the external actors, external influence, things that they cannot do. For instance, now you have booked a ride, the driver is on the road, you don't have authority on what the driver does on the road. So think of, you have a house and you have walls. The kitchen has its own part, is what the kitchen can do, and you have walls, can't do more than that. What is inside your whole building, the perimeter of your whole building, is what you can control. What is outside of it are the external parties. For instance, now you have visitors. Visitors come to your house. They are external parties. So they interact with your house. Don't worry. When we see the picture itself, the use case picture itself, or the diagram itself, you will understand what I mean. But this is the foundation. Now, let's go to the second one, which is this use case document. Now, the diagram, like I said before, gives us the overview, but this use case document is the one that will give you the details. It's just like you are explaining what is in the diagram. So it's just like a script behind the story. You get so for this has 8 building blocks. Now, it has the use case name, just a title anyway. For instance, transfer funds is a use case name. So we have the use case description, which will describe the goal, what you are trying to do. The third one is the actors, which we have explained before. That's the actor that is behind this particular action. Now, basic flow is the standard that it must follow when you are interacting with that app. So in that standard, we have the happy parts and the unhappy parts. For instance, you want to log in, you select account, you enter amount, you confirm, you transfer, it's completed. But there is still an unhappy part when you impute a wrong login details. Now, we also have alternative flow. Yes, that's number 5. You create alternative flow. What happens when this vary? That's what is alternative flow. For instance, if the user enters a wrong PIN, like I said, or you have insufficient fund, what happens? So there must be an alternative flow. You must create it. Also, special requirements. Any non-standard condition is a special requirement. Yeah. Then we have precondition. These are called triggers. You want to withdraw money and you don't have money in your account. That's a precondition. What must be true before the use case begins at all? You want to withdraw, but there is no money. So you must have sufficient fund first. So that's a precondition. Also, users must be logged into the account first before you can withdraw. That's also a precondition. And there is also what is called post conditions. Post conditions are what should be true after the use case ends. For instance, funds is transferred, confirmation is shown, account is balanced and it is updated. So these two components work together. I mean, the diagram and the detailed description, and together they will help the designers, the software designer, if it's a website, and the developers, they will use it to understand how the system should work and how it works. Testers also, they will be able to understand what to test and what to verify. You get so stakeholders too. That's your hand, the owners of the business. They also will be able to understand what they are going to expect or what they are going to get. So our final takeaway on this is that a well-structured use case architecture ensures clarity, communication, and confidence throughout the project life cycle. Yes, and it is both visual, it is verbal, and this is what you are going to use to explain when you are presenting as a business analyst. Yes, let's move forward. Let's look at a simple case, of a use case like this. This scenario. Okay, let's take a look at this simple case. This slide you are looking at demonstrates how users interact with a system. Yes, it's still the banking system, which I feel is the most common. I will try to break this down into piece by piece. Need you to understand the relationship between the actors, the responsibility that is on them, and the interactions that is involved in this little use case called checkout system. It's just a checkout system. That is the use case. It's not the whole system from the beginning. No, it's just the checkout system. Now, who are the actors in this case? The users. So actors represent who is interacting with the system. Who are these actors? Number one, in this case, we have the customer. The customer, who is the person that will initiate the checkout itself. Think of somebody that is shopping on a Jumia or Amazon platform. The customer selects the item, yes, goes to checkout, and he pays. The clerk on the back end will or the support, they can have support staff who takes a support role. You might be able to process a manual steps or oversee the transaction. Example, if they ask for help, you might be able to just send a little manual to them. Then you have the admin also, who is the person that manages the system, and especially at the admin panel itself. So if you also think of the IT support or the system admin, who also handles different roles, is the one that we allocate different roles and access to the system. Now, payment service is also another actor there, because you need to link it with the payment service. So a payment service, though it's not a person, is a system itself, but it's an actor. For instance, I think in Nigeria we have a Paystack, right? Paystack, of Stripe, the bank's API. So this processes the transaction once payment is initiated. So there's also what we call system boundaries, which is the rectangular that you can see here. This rectangle, the rectangle, everything inside the box, everything inside this box is what the system is responsible for. Yes. So in this case now, the subsystem that we call checkout on top there includes the payment, the manage users, and help. Everything outside this box that you see here, everything outside this box, like the actors, the external services, is something the system interacts with, but they cannot control it. You cannot control it. Now, the use cases itself, they are the ovals. This one, this manage users, this payments, this checkout, this help, they are the use cases itself. That's why you see ovals. That's what I call ovals there. Each oval is a use case, and it is an action. It's an action that leads to a goal. Checkout, which is the main process. We start from there. The payments, the manage users, they are. Now, let's talk about the relationship. The relationship is used. You see simple straight lines that connect these actors to use cases. That is relationship. Now, customers check out, administrator manage users. You also have what is called relationships. We have if we're talking about include and exclude relationship. Include relationship means every time checkout is performed, this is the right route or the right way it should behave. Payments must happen. That's one example. Once you check out, payments must happen. Have you ever gone to an ATM and you clicked pay and the ATM refused to pay? You know, so it's a required step. Once you follow through, that is what we call include relationship. For instance, now you place an order without paying, it will not go. So extend relationship, on the other hand, means help is an option. Help is an option feature that can extend this checkout case. Example, during your checkout, maybe you need support, you don't understand. So the help feature is triggered. It's just by the side there, you just click help. So it is only needed when you have a scenario that is not in conformity with this. Now, okay, I want to believe we understand this because we still have a long thing to look into today. Yeah. All right. Okay. Because I want us to practice something, and I want us to go this time around. We're going to use the chat box. If you look at this simple case, if it is simple enough with the relationship I explained, the subsystem, the boundaries that I explained. Now, let's think about an health organization. And I want us all to practice this. So listen attentively. If you have a client that is called, let's say, NHS, or it's an healthcare giant, and they have asked you, based on their healthcare ERP system that they have, they want you to replace a manual process or a manual system for registering patients and processing payments with a digitalized integrated ERP system. They already have an ERP, but they still run manual for registering patients. ERP stands for ERP is Enterprise Resource Planning. Yes. And it's a centralized software solution that is used to manage key parts of business, like the finance, like the ERP, like inventory. So it's a complete system. So now, as I was explaining, if you want to analyze this situation using the three lenses that I explained, which is the use case scenario, the actors, and the components, which is the internal and the external. So these three must always be there. So if you say that you want to go on your chat box now, what use case can you now tell me in this scenario that you want to turn a manual registration of an health insurance or an hospital. Let me just break it down. What use case can you generate? You can go on your chat box now and begin to chat. If you have use case, if you really understand it, and if you don't understand it, we can go back and explain. Or you tell me what aspect you don't understand. Yes, use case, please. Our healthcare giants need us to update their current manual system of registering patients and making payments to an ERP. You want to understand, you want to identify these three. Yes, thank you, Kent. You are really following. Online registration. Online registration is one use case, but this is just too vague. Can you break it down? Online registration. Yes. Like I said, what are those activities that you think a user or an actor will perform on that digitalized system? And that's a use case. What do you think that person will want to achieve? What is the goal? And that will be a use case. Example, you can just say login. Logging in is an example of a use case. Yes. Login is an example. Well, user information input. Yeah, yes, yes. User information input. Yes. It's one of it. Yeah. Or just keep it simple. User information. Yeah, I like that. Akinola. Register, login. Simple. That's just it. Thank you so much. Register, login. That's a use case. Straight off. Or patient registration. Hourly context. That's it. Specific actions that the users wants to take on that system. Just start to think. Put yourself in their scenario. You understand? Just start thinking. Register patient, yeah. Schedule appointment, booking appointment. I love that. Booking appointment, yeah, it's one of it. Generate patient ID. So, as a staff, I want to generate it. I want to make my patients serialize. I want to give them an ID. Capture payment. Print receipts is one of it also. Patient information or update patient information. That's one action. For instance, now patient has still changed address from Lagos to Calabar. You want to update the information. So just imagine that you are walking into an hospital and you are going through registration process. Every step that you take is a use case. Every step you take is a use if the system is involved. All right, now let's go to the second one now. Who are the actors? Can you go on your chat box now? Actors now, please. Who are those actors? Can you mention actors in this scenario? I want to see if you're really following. Who are those? Patients. Fine. Good. Thank you. Patients. Yes. Other actors that can interact with this system. Doctors, GP practice. Good. Thank you. Yeah. Patient, doctors. Yes. Accountants, maybe hospital accountants, hospital administrators, insurance providers, yes, receptionists, pharmacies, yeah, all right, yeah. You're really desk staff, first line of support, like a receptionist, yes, front desk staffs, yeah, they are there too, and those can be categorized. All what you have mentioned, you can categorize them under what is called I think they are all primary actors. Yes, they are all primary actors because they interact directly. There is still secondary actors, hospital administrators that manage the setting, the rules, the back end, those IT guys, they are secondary actors. Yes, they are secondary actors. Now, let's go to component, which is the third one. Under component, we have internal and external that I explained before. Components are the technical parts that are involved in this app that we want to develop. Let me just explain it. So, in an ERP system that we said, patient registration module is one component. If you pick an ERP, has account payable, account receivable, the dashboard, the user management system, these are internal components. Yes. Why external components are the gateways? For instance, your ERP, the API that synchronizes your ERP with another third-party app is an external component. The bank gateway payment system, like we mentioned before, they are all external. Insurance API, maybe health insurance API, they want to quickly get updated. They communicate with the ERP. So it's an external component. Also, the SMS notification service providers, they are external components. Yes, you might need to send notification of their appointments. Yes, so they are all externals. All right, let's go into what is called process flow. Yes, if we understand what we have been on since, you will understand process flow. Now, listen carefully. I'm just going to explain this. If you listen and you follow it, you will understand this to an extent. Now, look at this process flow diagram. It is an architectural tool that business analysts use to document. Like I said before, it's just a visualized document to show how the process will work across the different roles. This one I'm showing you as different swim lanes. So what do I mean by swim lanes? It's just to divide the roles. So this one has 3 swim lanes, which is finance, the credit department, and also the store assistant. Yes, the store assistant. So by the way, this is a loan application that we're trying to develop. I'm trying not to stay with one scenario or one example because I want to broaden your mind. I want to make sure that you think you can find yourself in anywhere. So processing a loan application, it's what this use case is about. So we have what is called swim lanes. And swim lanes are just the relationship between the different actors, the different departments. Now, we have 3 swim lanes here. We have the store assistants, the credit department, and the finance department. Each swim lanes represents a role and the department, and actions that fall under them. You will just see it in front of it. So the process starts with the store assistant. Yes, the store assistant records the store assistant record the loan application. Yes, and the process starts from there, and it's like when the customer walks into a branch and fills out a loan form. Now, the second one is the check application information, which you can see over there, which is the second one. It's still handled by the store assistant. If you look at it in front of the store assistant, it's still handled by him. So, who checks all the necessary documents and who is make sure that the details are complete? That's the work of the store assistants. And then if you look in front, if you look, you will see a cross. And this cross is a decision-making gateway. Yes. Anytime you see this, it is a decision-making gateway. It splits. Yes. So anytime you see a diamond like this symbol and a cross in it, it asks questions. Is the application complete or is it valid? That's the question it's asking. If yes, the process moves on. If not, then you look back or it stops. So now, in this, for us to move forward, the loan, it moves forward. It is yes. So we have loan assessment, which is the next one. And this has fallen under the credit department. If you look at it, so it falls under them for credit and proper evaluation. Here, the credit officer will check the application, and we also check the applicant's credit worthiness. It checks his income and the risk level. So if you look at the front, you will see another cross with the diamond, which is also a decision gateway for who? For the credit department, whoever that is in charge. So another evaluation is either approved or not approved at that place because it's a decision. So you can inform the customer of the rejection if it is not approved. And if the loan is not approved, the customer is notified. The process can end there immediately. You can see that in front, customer rejection, and it ends there. That's 0. You see there, it ends. And if it's the loan is approved, it goes to the next, which is the finance. That's the last swim lane. The file moves there, and the finance department, what do? They disburse. So, and this also marks, you see the arrow goes up, back again, and marks the end of the process. So once either the customer is informed or the funds are disbursed, everything starts and ends in the same place. So if you understand this process, you can visualize when you are explaining to your stakeholder, you are able to visualize and to explain to them very well each of the actions and how it goes across the the department, and you identify the points, the bottlenecks that can happen here. It ensures that an automated analysis is done. Now, your takeaway on this here is that with this, every department knows where the buck stops and starts. They know their role. They know what happens next. Especially, it's especially this process map is very powerful, and especially when you are moving from the manual process to a digital process. Yes. Now, let's still look at something that is called assist. I've used this word several times when I was explaining things. Assist and to be. Now, still talking about the process flow. Yes. Like I said, process flow diagram is a visual map that shows it shows each steps of a user, how they interact with the system, and what it takes to complete a process. So it also shapes the arrows, the arrows that shows what is currently being done and how they should be done and how it will improve. So now, our assist process is just what is currently the state, right now. If you look at the left side here, this is the, you have to document the process, the manual process, and that is what is called assist. So assist process is the current state. Let's start with the left side here. The left side of this diagram, the current state is that a user searches for an item, the system shows the result. If item is found, they view the item details. Yeah. If not, the search may be refined or it's ended. This is the existing platform, and that is the experience right now. Now, the to be is the future state where you are taking them to. Now, you have to shift your shift to the left side right now, and the to be will show you the improved version, how things will work after your enhancement, after development, after deployment. So it also shows the difference. The process begins with an auto login, yeah? A small improvements that remove frictions. So then the search results flow only now that the user doesn't have to manually log in first. You optimize their journey. You save time. They don't have to be logging in every time. And this improves usability. They are all important. Now, our takeaway here is that assist and to be diagrams are workflow charts. They are strategic tools. They help us to align teams. They help us to justify the investments. They ensure that every improvement is rooted in real users' experience. All right. Now, let's quickly move to, because of our time, to what is called BPMN symbols. BPMN stands for business process model and notation. Business process model and notation. And this helps us to visually map business workflow. This is it. You see, these are just symbols that you will come across as a business analyst. Somebody's showing you this. When they use it, you should know what it means. So when you just see a diagram without anybody explaining to you, you'll be able to read it. And these are activities. It helps us to visualize the process, a business workflow, in a standard, easy to understand format. Let's go step by step. And by this, the first one is activities. If you see the first one there, in front of it, you see task. A task is a single unit of work. Example, send invoice. Let's say send invoice or approve request. That's a task. It's straightforward and usually completed by one person or a system. Can have what we call sub-process also. A compound activity that contains smaller tasks. Example, process loan, like the example someone gave just now. This might include three. That's why I said it's vague. Process loan. So many activities, internal steps might be involved, like verification, approval, risk check, and so on. Now let's go to events. Events tells us when something starts, when something happens, and when something ends. Start events, like the one you see, that circle, that open circle is called start. Anywhere you see start event. And this kicks off a process. Yes, there's also intermediate event, that double circle. Yeah, and this shows this double circle is used when something happens during the process, like waiting for an email or confirmation. And there's also end event, a bold circle like this. The process finished with funds. That's an example of a bold circle. You use a bold circle to represent that. Timer, clock icon, just to indicate the triggers, the time. Maybe within 24 hours, a reminder must be set. Now, let's go to gateways. Gateways or gateway controls. They are decision points and flow flow ways. You see, we have what is called exclusive gateway and inclusive gateway. Exclusive gateway is when only one path is chosen. It must follow this path. E.g., if the application is valid, approve, or else reject it. That's one part. No other way. Inclusive gateway, that's the O, exclusive is X. The O, one or more parts may be taken. E.g., if order is large, very large order, urgent and so much, you have to notify the manager and the logistics. Yes, that is an example of inclusive. Why parallel gateway, which is represented by plus, means that all parts are activated at the same time. E.g., at the same time you send the confirmation at the same to an email, and you also send the confirmation to with the phone. You update the dashboard, everything simultaneously. This is a parallel gateway. Now, there's what is called swim lanes. I explained swim lane the other time when I was showing you the last one. And these are just the roles and the departments that are involved in the process. Yes. We have under the swim lanes, there is pool. Pool means the entire organization or a system. Yes, like customer service. That's a pool. You see it by the left side in the other diagram I showed you the other time. We have lane. Lane is a subdivision of a pool. Yeah, like a support agent or a supervisor under a customer service. So swim lanes help us to show who is doing what, and it keeps the responsibility clearly. There's also what is called flow and data objects. Yes, flow and data objects. These connect tasks together. Yes, an invoice, a report, a customer record, they are all data objects. Yeah. So if you understand all these, if you understand all these all these symbols, you will be able to clearly communicate as a business analyst. You'll be able to spot inefficiencies when you are seeing a diagram, and you can ensure that developers and stakeholders are aligned using all this. So this is a language that is understood by all. It's a language of operation, and it is used by business analysts. You are just the translator, so you are the one to present it to them. Yes. Okay. I'm going to the next slide to show you a bigger one now that shows exclusive and inclusive gateways. Now, I'll just rush over this because of our time. Past 7 already. Like I explained before, yeah, the decision points, we have work process flows, especially the difference between an exclusive gateway and an inclusive gateway. You see, this diagram that I'm showing you gives us a perfect real world example of an admin person, the admin journey that starts with the admin process. The process begins when admin opens the web application. They are then prompted with login. Yeah, they have to log in first. Then we arrive at the first gateway, which is marked with this X that you see here, an exclusive gateway. Yes. Inside the exclusive gateway, like we have a decision point where only one part can be taken. Here's what happens. If the user logs in successfully, the process continues to the next step. If he forgets his password, yes, they are directed to either change password. Instead, only one part has to be followed in this scenario based on the outcome. Yes. Moving on. Yeah. If you move on, when login is successful, once login is successful, we encounter a new decision. Yes, this new diamond here. This one is marked with 0, and this is an inclusive gateway. So an inclusive gateway allows somebody to execute at the same time, and depending on users' needs, you do one thing and about 2-3 things happen at the same time. You have access to profile, you can view dashboard, you can check notification at the same time. Most of the time it's on your dashboard that you see this. Also is greeted with an inclusive gateway. Multiple outcomes can just happen. For example, it's just like you are entering a room with 4 open doors. You can go through 1, you can go through 2, and you can go through all of them. So another inclusive gateway is also greeted again in front there. Now the admin has access to scheduling appointments. He has access to managing records. He has access to accessing invoices pending. Can view communication. People have dropped message for you. So these are also parallel options. So, and you can perform any of these tasks. Now, why are we trying to understand this? Designing a clear and logical workflow helps developers to build an accurate logic into a system. When you give them this, they know what to do. Yes, they know what to do. All right. Going into what is called wireframes. Balsamic wireframe. Yeah, sorry. Wireframes. You can use balsamic, you can use any other thing, but I like using balsamic. So this page here shows you a classic wireframe. And what is a wireframe? It's just a black and white. It's always in black and white, no color, no finance. Yeah, and it is not the final design. It's just a blueprint of what to expect. How pages by pages of the software or of the app is going to look like. Yeah, a wireframe is a visual layout. It outlines the structure of a page. Yes, the functions of that, what you can perform on the page. And this helps us to focus on the functionality first before worrying about colors, before worrying about font size. And you see, the example given here, my tube, is a wireframe that shows a video platform mockup, like a basic version of YouTube. Yeah, what can we observe here? Number one, you have the navigation bar. There's something called navigation bar. You can see there. Links like home, videos, channels, community. They are clearly laid out here. That's one thing that I can observe here. Another thing is that I can see search bar, upload button, and these are the core functions. Yes. I can also see the main video area. I can see video title goes here, where you can just title your video, Also, the interaction tools are there, like share, like favorites, add playlists, flag. They're also there. All right. Add sections, AD. All right. Also, the user information is also there. The just suggested video sessions are also there. You see, why are we using this wireframe? Why? Why wireframe? Wireframes help stakeholders to visualize the product early, so they know what they are expecting. It's a prototype. It saves time by clarifying features before development. Developers use this too. You send it to developers. Yeah, it reduces misunderstandings. What is not in your wireframe will not be produced, will not be developed. That's it. Developers will not take anything outside the wireframe from you. Yes. So wireframes are bridges between requirements and design. They answer the question, what will the user see and do? So before developers can build anything, before designers can be creative, can start finance, wireframe must be clear and well structured. Yes. All right. Still on the wireframe, let's deepen our understanding on this wireframe by looking at how we capture a user journey step by step. So this screen shows us the sequence of screens. There are 3 here of screens in a mobile application, phone application. It's not about design yet. It's about functionality and flow. So what is wireframe? A wireframe is a blueprint, like I said, a visual guide that shows the structure of a digital product like website or app. It helps product owners to explain the idea. You know, designers plan the, layouts. It helps developers to understand the logic. Also, it helps the stakeholders to visualize the end product earlier. So when they see the wireframe, they already know what they are expecting. Anything outside the wireframe will not be developed. Now, like I said, it also shows the user journey. Yeah. Example, if we walk through this wireframe that you're looking at, you see this music streaming app, like a Spotify app or Apple Music. The create account screen is there. The welcome screen, you can see where you can sign up. The login screen is also there. Yeah. So, and the interactions, these arrows that you see shows the interaction. This is how you're going to draw it from one decision to the next. So each of these shows the flow. It shows the steps. All right. So this, like I said, this is the blueprint. All right. Another BA tool I want to talk about. Don't forget, please, your questions, just document it. I'll take a question very soon. We're almost rounding up. Is Jira. If you look at this is a Jira on the screen. And it's an example, just screenshot it. It's a Jira, is a typical Jira board, and Jira is a project management tool. So it's part of what you should also be aware of, especially it is popular when you're using Agile and when you are developing, when you are in the development stage and you are among the Scrum teams. Jira helps us to visualize the progress of the project. It's like a board. It's just it's your mission control, the task, the user stories, the sprints, the bugs, the feature development, all goes into Jira. So it is Jira helps you to break down the board, yes, into the to do, the in progress, the done. Yes, the to do, for instance, let me quickly tell you, this is a Kanban, style board where you see it up like this, just a standard Kanban. So the to do are the tasks that have not yet started. They've not started at all, so you can see it under to do here. While the in progress are the work that is currently being done. Code review, on the other hand, if you have that, some doesn't have it, they are the tasks that are awaiting the developer's review. While the done are the completed items. You will notice the labels, assignees, tags. These are just to help us categorize and assign responsibilities. So you know who is responsible for any task. Yes. As a business analyst, you will be the one to create the user stories. Like, as a user, I want to reset my password via SMS. Jira will allow you to load and log that user story into this. You load everything there. So you attach the requirements, you link the designs, you even assign a developer to each of it so they can be able to respond to it. So as the sprint progresses, the task moves from one board to another. For instance, from the to-do to the in progress to the done. And every step, you can track it. You can communicate updates. You don't need to go and meet one or pick a phone and start calling one developer. Where are you? It is the Jira that communicates to everybody. So it is used to track progress. It is used to collaborate between teams, especially the developers and the testers. Communicates to the stakeholders too. Stakeholders can also log in and check what is the state. It is in Jira that you will be able to allocate time and you will be able to know when this final app will be ready. So Jira is like your digital whiteboard, your planning notebook, your accountability tracker. They are all in one place. All right. I'm sure that a lot of people will have a lot of questions. So that's why I'm going to leave about 30 minutes for question and answers. And we can go back to any of the slides and re-explain by the time we are asking questions. All right. Yes, I've explained this. We have to do in progress, review, done. Yeah, I explained this before. We know what this is. Or these are just the different categories, different workflow under Jira. Yes, this is the last one I'm going to touch now. Yeah, it is about the development stages. Yeah, if we talk about the development stages, these 4 stages help us to understand where we are during the development or the project team development model. This one I'm showing you is a Talkspan project, a model, and it outlines the 4 stages. The 4 stages of what we call the forming, storming, performing, and numbing. Yeah, those are the 4 stages here. The forming is where everything begins. Team members meet for the first time. Rules are not clear. While the storming is where things start to get a little rocky. You know, the storming phase, team members start to express their opinion about all the challenges. You know, that's when people start talking. You sure this thing will be able to come? So at the 3rd stage of numbing, the team starts to click together. Yeah, let's do this. Come on, let's do this. Let's stop all this. At this stage, roles, oh, you do this. Relationships are being established also. Roles are being designed. Oh, if you can do this, then we can do this. And that is the um norming stage. Yeah, the performing stage is the sweetest part of it, and this is where work is being done strategically. Work is carried out and efficiently, and little oversight is needed here. Everyone is in sync, goals are being hit, so the process is sweet. So roles now stay out of the way at this stage. Yes. So everything goes through all these stages, these four stages. Every project, some are faster, some are slower, but your job as a business analyst, manager, or it could be a scrum master at this stage, is to recognize where your team is. Yes, you need to support them through the transition when they are moving from one stage to the other, and you create the right environment for the growth. Now, also, because when you understand how the team develops, you just need to manage the work. You empower people, and by allowing people to do it. All right. So I am going to stop here today before my closing remark, and start taking this 7:30 and start taking questions. In these questions, I can go back and explain whatever. So here, I can see something. Kent, do you use balsamic to design the wireframe flow, or it's better done with Figma? Yeah, it depends on the one you know very well. The wireframe flow. I use balsamic. I'm not really conversant with Figma. So, like I said, the company you are working with, if it is Figma, they understand very well. If most of the people there, they understand Figma, maybe they've gone for a training on Figma. You will need to know Figma, and you will need to use the Figma to explain to them. If you bring balsamic to them, they might not understand it. So that's where it is. So it depends on what you're good at, what the company wants, and how you are able to explain. You can drive change also. You can be using balsamic there for the wireframe, and you get there, you tell them that Figma is better. Drive home your point and let them say. Yeah, and that's about that question. Please, next question. If you have any question verbally, you can come up at this stage, please. Yeah, it's open for questioning now. We are open for questioning if you want to ask questions. By the way, I'm going to send this to um to Borderless, and they will as well send it to you, so you can have it in hand and you can revise, especially with the link, the meeting link. Yeah. Okay. If we don't have any question, I am going to come and give my final note if there is no question, or can I just give some minutes? Yes, Bashir, your question, please.
Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity you shared with us. Um, well, there is nothing to say much, but first, first of all, I want to appreciate this selfless service to have inducted us with awareness about the possibilities of being a business analyst. Now, the next phase of my thoughts is after this, what's next in terms of opportunity and prospect that comes with being a business analyst. I would like to take this further in terms of because this is not just it shouldn't just stay with what we have just learned, even though you call this basic as it is something that you can even use to transform transform a business that you are consulting for with this what we have given us as a basic. So, however, what are the prospects internationally that one can aspire to in terms of maybe I want to further certifications, further training, so that I look at opportunity that I can position myself for in the international market? That's my question.
Okay, thank you very much, Bashir. You asked a very good question. What is next? You see, uh, like I said, I always say this training is just to open you up and see if you can pick a career. If yes, I would advise you go for a full training. Yeah, because internationally, like you mentioned, and you are employed, and on your CV, you already tell them that you have these skills, and these skills. When you come on board, nobody's going to teach you again. Nobody's going to, you won't have that opportunity because you didn't apply for intern. You applied for a direct job. And when you're given the job and you don't have that skill, there's no way you can deliver. You can see a lot of people won't just pass the probation stage, 3 months, and will just throw you out. So what we're doing is we're doing well. We have opened you up. You've had some terms. You've seen the jobs. You've seen if it is hectic, if it is not your style, then pick up, try go for a proper training. So that by the time you're going for this proper training with this background that you have here today, you'll be able to further understand what it entails. When you're now getting on the job, you won't be so afraid. Internationally, yes, business analysts are sought after. They are well sought after, and um, there's there's rarely businesses in UK or in Europe that they don't have business analysts, except because they take them very important. They are the future of the company. You know, who is going to draw roadmap? Who is going to increase? You know, they work with sales and the vision of the company. Who is going to stand between the developers? If it is an IT company, the developers and the owners of the business. You are the one that will go and organize the elicitation meeting, get all what they want, their process flow, put it into writing, and come back to developers will not follow you to the site. They will not follow you to a client meeting. You'll be the one. So you start thinking of how well important business analysts are. If you just Google it, if you go online, you will see how sought after business analysts are. And another thing is this: as a business analyst, you can cross. You can be cross scrum masters. You can be product owners. You can own a product. You can own an aspect of a product. When I say product, sometimes products are not only tangible; they are software products. You can be in charge of a POS software in a company, maybe a development a software developing company that owns a lot, that has lots of software that they sell out there, and they can just say, okay, be in charge of our POS or be in charge of our insurance brokerage system. Do you understand? So you will be the one to develop, you'll be the one to manage the product and make sure that they gain from it. So business analysis is a sure bet. It's something that I feel you can you move into. Yeah. I think there is a question here. I can't find that question anymore. I don't know. It went from Kent. If that answers your question, if no, you can just Bashir, if you have other
Okay,
questions.
I think, okay, yes, thank you so much. I think you have answered the question. However, the way my thought was going is I have a background not in management, not in business studies and likes. I have a background in science, but for the past 20 years, I found myself in management. So I've worked with at the level of an enterprise agency in Abuja. I've done personal business consulting and all that. So I am looking at being a remote consultant as a business analyst now for an SMEs, maybe in the UK, in the US, in Canada, as not necessarily because getting a job will be fantastic. It will provide opportunity for relocation and all that. That's one aspect. But I'm looking at if I want to consult on a personal note for small business or for business at all as a business analyst, can this be added to my portfolio of what I currently do? Because I am a certified business and executive coach. That's what I do. I train with the number one coaching academy in Nigeria, that is OSCA in Lekki. So, and I've been practicing for the past 10, 15 years in that space. And I also have a good background when it comes to SME development, MBA, MSc, entrepreneurship, and all that. But when I'm talking about taking this combination of knowledge with what we are getting from this now, but this is a specialized line. This, what you are teaching us now, is a specialized line of thought, of knowledge. How do I mean, what is the prospect in me bringing this into my service offering as a consultant to SME? Let me use SME as my area of focus.
Yeah. It's not something that is far-fetched. It's not something you cannot do. But you spoke of internationally the other time, so that's why I really want to get. If you're staying in the Nigerian space, you understand the Nigerian space very well. You might stay there, but what I'm explaining is that if you're going internationally, the way they do things is different from the way Nigerians do things. There are some like, as a business analyst, what you have learned here is the process of doing things, especially in the UK. But in Nigeria, it may not follow. And again, all these tools, like I said, you must know how to use them. If you don't know how to use them, there's no way you can explain to them during your presentation. So, and that is why I said, apart from what you have on your consultancy, apart from everything that you've already have, you need to know all these tools, and you need to go for proper training on how to use the Lucio, the balsamic, because you need a lot of documentation. They do lots of documentation internationally. They do. You have to present. It might be online. You will have be remote, but you still need all these tools to be able to project to them. So that's why I would still recommend that you go for proper training, except you already know all this. If you already know all this, then why not? Then why not? Then you move into it. Then why not? Just seek the roads. Just go online and start applying. And when you apply, just make sure you daughter your CV very well. Put all the tools that you know there, because they are going to ask you questions on this during your interview. And what they look at here is skills. It is not certification. Yes, it is not certification. It is skills. Do you have the skills? Do you have the competencies? If you don't have the competency during interview, you'll be out. It is only those that can do what they do. Can give you exercises. I've had friends before that they will just online, they will just tell them, can you load your balsamic? Can you do this, do this, do this? do a swim lane for us. A little process that we have used as an example here, maybe the banking app, they will just tell you, can you please do a representation of a wireframe for us, or of someone that wants to just withdraw from an ATM, and you will be live on your live. There's nothing, you cannot go out there. So these are skills, these are things. It is what you have to offer that they look at here, and that determines your pay too. Yeah. All right.
Wow, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes. All right. Kent, you said, is it a BA that designs the wireframe? Yes. And that is why I showed you. If it's not a BA work, I will not show you here. So it's a BA that designs the wireframe. It's not the UX designer. No. No. Don't forget, I've told you, wireframe is a black and white. UX designers, they are the one, they will design. Wireframe is a prototype. Wireframe is not colored. It is white and black. It's just like you are using Biro to draw how a software will look like, the pages of the software. When I click this login, it takes me to another place. You will just represent it there. And it's a prototype of that sim. UX designers, we had a lot to it. All right. Now, Olalekan said, do you offer trainings on these tools? No, please. I don't do training on the tools. Lots of, I can send links of training of on the WhatsApp. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, Ayoola, I wanted to ask, do I dropped it in the chat because I'm at the workplace, but in the process map,
Yeah.
is it the there's a feature you put in sub-process feature. Is that what you use to move from one swim lane to another? Because I know that sometimes that you need to show how a process moves from one particular pool, or one swim lane in a pool to another swim lane. Is that the sub-process that you use for it?
Yes, is a task. Yeah. It is just a group, a group set of interrelated activities. It can sometimes be treated as a single process. So when you say sub process, it's an abstract details of a complex process. I don't know how to explain this. So a process will be broken down into sub process. So inside the sub process, you can see have process too that are reusable. So the swim lane I showed you, yeah, where you have the sales, the finance, the HR, you can also have the IT department. All of them are swim lanes. So between these swim lanes, you have sub processes. So they can serve different purposes. So the sub process will show you the task between two of them. For instance, let me go back to this all right. If you look into this now, you see after the store assistant, you see the credit debt, you see the finance. If this one will not have that, let me just go into the other one. Yeah. Where you have this zero here, where you have this, you have access user profile, you have access dashboard, you have view notification. There is a process which is logging successfully. The sub process here is a decision. There is a decision here. You have 3 sub processes greeting you here. So any one of it that you pick is a sub process. I will just use this as an example, and this particular one explains it all. I don't know if you understand it now.
Yeah, I do understand this the question I actually wanted to know is what um BPN symbol do you use to transition from one, like this whole one is for within admin. Let's say you have an API involved and you want to move from this to an API. What is that feature you use to
Do you mean,
indicate?
when you say feature, do you mean the annotation?
Yes, yes, sorry.
It depends. You are the one that is, for instance, now it depends on what you want to communicate. It depends on what you want to communicate. There is no annotation for API itself. So it is the action that determines the annotation, this annotation that you want to.
Okay. So this sub process now, is it not when you click that cross site that it takes you to a different page?
Yes, good.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. If this is what you used to do that.
Oh, yeah, yes, that's it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
if you are using it in your wireframe, or yes, you know, you must have put the link. If it is balsamic now, once you just import this design here, you click on that plus, it takes you to the other page,
Okay.
because it's a sub process, so it takes you straight to the other page. Yeah. You see, all this is just for you to know. For instance, you just see this. You just see this. You should be able to read this. For instance, now when you get to work as a business analyst, they would send you a lot of documents. You have access to their formal documents, and when you see something like this, maybe they are designing a house, or they have designed one project before. They just send this. Oh, do you want to see the process? Yes, this is what they will send to you, and nobody is there to explain it to you. So this representation, you'll be able to know, oh, that this is exclusive, this is inclusive. So that's the reason for all this. Yeah. Any other question? All right. Let me see. Do we have any question? What would be that would be nice? I think that we need to right now. Okay. On a final note, I would like to say, ladies and gentlemen, we can bring this 4-week journey to a close, and I want to take a moment to reflect on where we have been and what lies ahead, like the question that was asked. We began this by answering the question of what is business analysis. If you remember, in the first week, I just want to do a little 5 minutes recap before I give it to Borderless. We said business analysts, they are change drivers, they deliver values, and they are problem solvers. And business analysis itself is about driving the change and delivering the values. We also looked at the core skills and competencies of a business analyst. We explored the essential skills. We looked at communication skills, critical thinking skills, stakeholder management. We've looked at requirement gathering, like the MOSCO, if you can remember, the PES2 analysis, the SWOT analysis. Yes. And we also looked at the core concepts, the frameworks. That's the agile. Yes. The frameworks like the waterfall and the agile, the approaches, and how a business analysis fits into both of this, the waterfall and the agile. And I believe you now know the phases of project, from the initiation phase to the closure phase, and how analysis is embedded throughout of these phases. Now, we also went into documentation, and what is called artifacts. From the business case to the BRD, from user stories to acceptance criteria. Last week we discussed about that. You now know how to define structure. I believe you know how to communicate business needs clearly. You've seen how tools like the Genken tools. Today we have discussed about wireframe and use case diagrams. Yeah. We looked at the tools also today, like Jira, which is used for agile project tracking, like the Lucid chart, which is used for process mapping. And I also told you about all other tools that you have learned in the past, the Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, which are all used for documentation and communication. You've seen how a simple wireframe or a process flow can make all the difference in aligning teams. For team development and collaboration, we have explored how teams can grow through forming, through storming, through norming, and performing. That was the last thing we talked about. So for those of us, for those of you that have you have just begun your journey in business analysis, you have the roadmap right now. You now speak the language of business analysis, and more importantly, if you now believe that you can do this, if you believe you can do this, whether it's your next step or the first thing you want to do is to write a BRD or facilitate the workshop, you can join business analysis communities. You can go online and join. You can also prepare for certification, proper certification, like the IIBA. Yeah, just start something. Start something. My final message is that this is not the end. It's just the beginning. You are now equipped with how to analyze needs, solve problems, dive meaningful analysis into what not just career but the mindsets of the stakeholders. So I want to say congratulations so far. Let me just say the business world is waiting for you. Thank you very much. That's my final notes. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Ayoola. I can see that people are already throwing in the emoticons. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We really cannot quantify this that you have done for us. May God continue to bless you and provide for you. We really appreciate this. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So, for a lot of us that are in the group, we have the WhatsApp group. Please, as we can see, Ayoola is very active in there. If you have questions, please let's ask him questions. The class has officially ended today. It does not mean that the support hasn't ended. For a lot of us that are interested in moving this forward, we are here to help you. We are here to make it happen. We would introduce you to people that can also help you to make this happen. As we had said, this session was just to expose us to business analysis. It's not the complete training. It's yes, for a few of us, we might be able to use this to get our first job, our first gig, but there are still many other things that can be learned in there. So as I had said earlier, if you're interested in pushing this forward, the link was shared before when we started. I'm going to share that link again for those that are interested Just fill it. If you want mentorship, fill it. We have about 2 people that are showing interest in giving out mentorship. And then for those that are also interested in teaching kids, you've learned, now you can earn from it. And while you are teaching the kids, you can also advance yourself. A link to has been shared for that. Also, I'm going to share a link for the feedback for the class. So please, let's read our tutor. He needs that feedback. He needs that feedback. So please, let's give him that feedback. I just shared it. Please, if you can quickly fill that, click on the link and fill that. It will really, really be appreciated. You can help fill that. It will really, really be appreciated. Let's fill that. This session, as I said, was brought to us by Borderless Tech. Borderless Tech is a platform. Sorry, just 1 minute. I'm supposed to join another meeting now. 1 minute in a meeting. Was brought to us by Borderless Tech. Borderless Tech is a platform that teaches kids coding, and this is a form of corporate social responsibility, CSR. So basically, it's just to empower people and help them get started in tech. Please, if you have filled the feedback form, please, you can just respond in the chat box saying done. I want us to fill it before we close this session. Please do help us fill it. Please fill it. It shouldn't take less than 30 seconds of your time. Please fill it. I want to get a response. I need that. Our tutor needs the feedback. So please, let's fill it. Thank you very much again, Ayoola. You really did a good job.
You're welcome.
You really did a good job. God continue to bless you.
Thank you.
We don't have anybody that has filled it. I want to get somebody that has filled it before we say we are ending the session. And before we add any other question from anyone, if this is related, thank you, Akinola Temitope. Any question related to Borderless that you want me to answer? We are going to, let me just give you a sneak peek. Thank you, Kent. Our next class is going to be in July, so we're going to be on break in June. And it's going to be something around AI. Thank you, Akinola Oladipo. It's going to be around AI, artificial intelligence. So if you are interested or you know anyone that will be interested in learning about AI, how it works, please tell them to follow us on social media. We will be unfolding those very soon. The PR is going to start next month. The flyer and everything was going to start in June. Then the class will hold for July. So please follow us on social media too. Thank you, everybody. Do you have a lovely week ahead of you? God bless us all. Do we have anybody here that is not in the WhatsApp group? If you're not in the WhatsApp group, please can you quickly signify before I end the session for today? Anyone? Thank you, Kent. Thank you for that. Thank you, Kent. Okay. Since we don't have that, see you guys in the WhatsApp group. Let's take the conversation there. Bye, everyone.